If someone had told me that after 12 years of marriage one seemingly harmless decision would flip my entire life upside down, I wouldn't have believed them. But here I am, watching everything I thought I knew about love and loyalty unravel right before my eyes. My name is Marcus, and for 12 years I thought I knew what happiness was. Olivia and I met in our mid-20s, both of us young professionals eager to make our mark on the world. We bumped into each other, literally, at a local cafe. The meeting led to a conversation which turned into a date and eventually, a marriage. Our life together was filled with shared dreams and quiet evenings. We weren't perfect, but we were solid, or so I thought. Lately, something had changed. Olivia became distant, her laughter less frequent, her eyes always drifting toward her phone. Notifications pinged constantly, and she'd smile at messages she never shared with me. "Who's that?" I'd ask casually. "Oh, just a friend," she'd reply, quickly locking her screen. One evening, as we sat across from each other at dinner, the tension was palpable. She was scrolling through her phone, barely touching her food. "Everything okay?" I asked. She looked up, almost startled. "Yeah, fine. I reconnected with an old friend today." "Anyone I know?" She hesitated for a moment. "You remember Derek, right? From college?" I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. Derek was more than an old friend. He was her ex-boyfriend, the one she dated before me. "I thought you two lost touch," I said carefully. "We did," she admitted. "But he found me on social media. We got to talking and it was nice catching up." I tried to keep my voice steady. "That's unexpected." She smiled with a hint of nostalgia in her eyes. "We were friends before we dated. It's no big deal." But it felt like a big deal. Over the next few days, her phone became an extension of her hand. She'd giggle at messages and excuse herself to take calls in the other room. When I walked in, she'd quickly end the conversation. "Why all the secrecy?" I finally confronted her. She sighed. "It's not secrecy. You're overreacting." "Am I?" "Because it seems like you're hiding something." The tipping point came one evening when Olivia casually mentioned that Derek had invited her out for drinks. She said it like it was no big deal, like meeting an old flame was the most normal thing in the world. "Derek and I are meeting for drinks tomorrow evening," she announced casually. I stared at her in disbelief. "You're what?" "He's in town for a few days and thought it would be nice to catch up in person." "It's been years." "I don't think that's appropriate, Olivia. He's your ex." She rolled her eyes. "Don't be ridiculous. We're adults. It's just a friendly meetup." I felt a surge of frustration. "I don't feel comfortable with this." "You're a married woman," I said. "Meeting up with an old flame for drinks, especially someone who used to have feelings for you, can give the wrong impression. It doesn't look right, Olivia. And to be honest, it doesn't feel right either." "Oh, come on, Marcus," she snapped. "I think you need to trust me, it's just drinks." "Trust isn't the issue. Respect is. I'm asking you not to go." She stood up, pushing her chair back sharply. "You can't control who I see. I'm going and that's that." I hoped she would change her mind, that she would realize how much this was bothering me. But when I walked into our room and saw her getting ready, my heart sank. She was wearing a sleek black dress that hugged her figure, paired with high heels she hadn't worn in months. Her makeup was flawless, red lipstick, smoky eyes, and just the right amount of blush. She looked stunning. But the effort she was putting into this harmless meetup didn't sit well with me. "You're really going?" I asked, standing in the doorway. She glanced at me in the mirror as she put on her earrings. "Yes, Marcus. I already told you it's nothing." "It doesn't look like nothing," I said, crossing my arms. "You're dressed like this for a friend? When was the last time you put in this much effort for me?" She sighed, turning to face me. "Marcus, don't start." "I'm not starting anything," I said, my voice rising slightly. "I'm just saying this feels wrong. If you go, it's like you're choosing him over me and over our marriage." "That's ridiculous," she snapped, grabbing her purse. "You're overreacting. I'll be back in a couple of hours." I watched as she walked past me, ignoring the heaviness in my voice when I said, "If you walk out that door, Olivia, don't expect me to be here when you get back." She paused briefly, her hand on the doorknob, but didn't turn around. Then she opened the door and left. I sat on the couch in complete silence after Olivia walked out the door. The click of her heels on the floor echoed in my ears long after she left. My chest felt heavy, like someone had placed a rock on it. I couldn't believe she left. It wasn't just about her meeting this old flame of hers. It was the way she brushed off my concerns as if they didn't matter at all. After 12 years of marriage, how could she so easily disregard my feelings? I stared at the spot where she had stood, adjusting her black dress and applying that bold red lipstick she rarely wore. She looked stunning, but it wasn't for me. It was for him, Derek. The thought worried me. She had dressed up like that for someone else, even after I made it clear how much it bothered me. How had we come to this? How had our partnership, built over a decade of love and trust, unraveled so quickly? I tried to shake the thoughts away, but it stayed. I replayed our argument in my mind. The anger started to build, but underneath it was something worse. Hurt. A deep, aching hurt that I couldn't ignore. I looked around the living room at the photos of us on the wall. I couldn't stay here. Not like this. At that moment, everything became clear. I couldn't continue in a marriage where my feelings and boundaries didn't matter. If Olivia could ignore me this easily, what would stop her from doing it again? Respect was the foundation of any relationship, and without it, what were we? Just two people living under the same roof, pretending everything was fine. I got up, walked to the bedroom, and pulled out a suitcase. I didn't need much, just the essentials. Clothes, toiletries, a few personal items. I packed quickly, not giving myself time to second-guess the decision. It wasn't the ending I wanted, but it was the one I needed. Before I left, I picked up my phone. I couldn't just disappear without saying anything. I opened her family group chat, where they added me after our wedding as part of their family. My fingers hovered over the keyboard for a moment before I started typing. After 12 years of marriage, I can't stay with someone who disrespects me so openly. Olivia is out on a date with her ex, and I'm done. I stared at the message for a moment, rereading it to make sure it said exactly what I wanted. Then I hit send. The response was immediate. My phone lit up with calls and messages, all from Olivia's side of the family. Her sister called first, but I didn't answer. Then came her mom, then her dad, all asking the same thing. What's going on? Where's Olivia? I didn't have the energy to explain. I ignored the calls, put my phone on silent, and walked out the door with my suitcase in hand. As I drove away, I thought about what Olivia would do when she found out. She'd probably be angry, maybe even embarrassed. But this wasn't about her anymore. It was about me, about standing up for myself and refusing to be treated like my feelings didn't matter. I found out later how the night unfolded, and honestly, it was exactly what I expected. Olivia showed up at the bar looking her best. Derek was waiting for her, thinking this was his lucky night. For the first few minutes, everything seemed fine. Then her phone started buzzing. Once, twice, then again. She ignored it, but the buzzing didn't stop. Call after call. Message after message. It became impossible to ignore. When she finally picked up her phone, there were dozens of missed calls and texts lighting up her screen. Messages from her sister and her parents. And then came the call. Julie, her sister, got through. Julie isn't one to sugarcoat things. Her voice was sharp, almost angry enough to cut through the loud bar noise. What on earth are you doing, Olivia? Marcus says he's leaving you. Is this some kind of joke? She had convinced herself I wouldn't follow through. But this time was different. She didn't think I'd tell anyone, much less take action. In a rush of guilt and panic, she mumbled some excuse to Derek. Something vague like, I have an emergency, I need to go. She grabbed her purse and bolted out of the bar, leaving him confused and alone. I, on the other hand, was at Phil's place. Phil has been my best friend since college. When I showed up at his door with a suitcase in hand, he didn't ask questions. He simply let me in, poured me a drink, and sat across from me, waiting until I was ready to speak. Man, he finally said, this is heavy. But you need to figure out what you really want out of this. Do you want to fight for your marriage, or are you done? I didn't answer right away. How could I? My emotions were all over the place. Anger, sadness, betrayal. It felt like a storm I couldn't control. That night, I lay awake on his couch, staring at the ceiling and thinking about everything. 12 years of marriage, it's not something you just throw away without a second thought. I started to wonder if I had played a part in what happened. But then, every time I tried to shift the blame onto myself, I came back to that date. The night she chose to disregard my feelings and go out anyway. Trust is a fragile thing, and once it's broken, rebuilding it isn't as simple as just saying, I'm sorry. Olivia wasted no time trying to salvage what was left of our marriage. She called me repeatedly, but I didn't answer. Every time her name flashed on my screen, I let it ring. I wasn't ready to hear her voice, not after everything, the disrespect. When the calls failed, she switched to text. Late into the night, my phone buzzed with a long, detailed message from her. I remember reading it, my jaw clenched, my emotions tugging in every direction. In her text, she admitted to her mistakes, something Olivia rarely did. She wrote about how she had let her insecurities and frustrations get the better of her. She explained that meeting Derek wasn't about replacing me, but about feeling wanted in a way she thought I no longer cared to make her feel. She expressed remorse, her words pleading for another chance. She wrote, "Marcus, I know I've hurt you in ways I can't even begin to describe. I've been selfish and I let my emotions cloud my judgment. Please let's fix this. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to rebuild the trust I've broken." But it wasn't just Olivia pushing for reconciliation. Her family got involved too. Her sister Julie called me the next day. "Marcus, I know you're angry and you have every right to be," she said. "But think about everything you and Olivia have built together. One mistake, no matter how bad, shouldn't erase all the good years. Please at least consider talking to her." Her parents echoed the same sentiment when they reached out. They reminded me of the strong bond Olivia and I had once shared. Her mother even said, "Marcus, we all make mistakes. But marriage is about forgiveness too. Don't let one bad chapter ruin your whole story." Their words sat with me for days. I thought about the years Olivia and I had spent building a life together, about the good times before the cracks started to show. But I also couldn't shake the betrayal, the thought of her with Derek, the disrespect. How could I ever trust her again? As I sat in the quiet of our empty home, I realized something important. Respect and communication are the pillars of any relationship. When those are broken, even the strongest marriage can crumble. Olivia had failed to respect me and our vows, and I had failed to see the signs that we were drifting apart. Now I'm left weighing my options. Do I try to rebuild what we had, since she's demonstrating repentance? Or do I close this chapter of my life and move forward? This is a lesson for anyone listening. Respect your partner, communicate, and never take your relationship for granted. Small actions, or the lack of them, can snowball into consequences you never saw coming. If this story had you hooked, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us out. Share this video with your friends and family, and make sure to subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories like this one. And here's the big question. If you were Marcus, what would you have done differently? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.